guys, it's Sam and welcome back to my channel. I can't believe it's almost the end of 2025. Where the hell has this year gone? I've read some incredible books this year and I hope you guys have too, but we've got 2 months left, so let's pick out my November TBR using some TBR prompt cards. I am so excited to pick out this month's books, but I do have 2 books which I didn't quite finish from October that I'll be continuing to read in November, and they are Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher and A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. Both I'm really enjoying. I'm over halfway in both of them. I like to read a few books at once, just depending on my mood. Really enjoying these and can't wait to give you guys an update when I finish, but so far this one is probably going to be one of my favourite cozy fantasy series of all time, and I haven't even finished it yet. I just really love T. Kingfisher's writing. I think she's so effortlessly funny in the way she incorporates humour into her characters, in the subtleties in her writing, and I'm loving the fact that she's balancing these 2 very like cinnamon roll characters, and I love their banter, but also the way they complement each other, the way they both can't get each other out of their heads. All the while it's balancing this quite dark mystery that's happening in their like town. Really intrigued to see where this one goes, as well as the rest of the series. I think it might be like following different characters in each book. You can see book 2 and book 3 there. Just can't wait to keep reading and tell you guys what I think. And for A Dance of Lies, I'm actually loving this a lot more than I thought I was going to, because it's quite heavy on the court politics and the political intrigue. I wasn't really sure if I would enjoy that as much as like a book with more action, for instance, but I am really liking it. It has a chronically ill main character, and I'm really liking how that like plays a very important part in the story, and how we see our main character really wrestle with the fact that she's lost a lot of her mobility and her agility and her strength that she used to have due to the fact that she was imprisoned for a few years, and she's lost that like very high level ability that she used to have, but she's still trying to get used to the body that she has now, the strength she has now, and know her limits, I guess, but also push herself as much as she can. I'm finding that like an interesting dynamic. And the bit where I'm up to, the romance, it's really great. It is a love triangle. I mean, she has 2 potential love interests and I like both of them, but the most recent scene in the brothel, I'm enjoying this a lot. So let's pick out my November TBR. I've got these gorgeous Illumicrate prompt cards. I'll give them a little shuffle and then we can start picking together. I did a video last week where I reorganized my TBR cart, so I'll mainly be trying to pick things off from there, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I think you guys can see that. Let's pick a random one. This is a nice blue. A book set in winter. Okay, this is a good one because it's winter time. So let's see what I've got on my TBR card. I'm immediately thinking Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This is one where I've seen so many people just call it one of their favourite romances of this year. And what I know about this story, obviously he's the ghost of Christmas past, and he's been tasked to haunt this girl for the month leading up to Christmas. And he normally haunts like pretty terrible people, but when he gets tasked with this girl called Harriet, he's like, the hell, like she's like cute and sweet and nice, and like why would I be haunting her? Like this doesn't make sense. And she doesn't know either, and they basically go on this journey where he revisits loads of her old past memories with her, and to try and figure out why it is he's haunting her in the first place. Hand in hand they uncover each other's past, but why is it that Nolan doesn't want to let go? And might Harriet be the key to giving up the ghost of Christmas past or future? I'm thinking she might be the key to helping him move on. They might know each other, or there might be some link between them. I don't know. I'm just really excited. So this one I think is possibly the one I'm going to pick for winter, but let me just double check that there's nothing else. Winter vibes, winter vibes. Do you think The Wolf King is winter vibes? Okay, I'll just pick this one for the prompt, because I have this very bad habit of picking way too many books for one prompt, because I'm like this or this or this, so I end up picking 3 books then going, okay, I'll just choose all 3. So you know what? 1 prompt, 1 book this time. Let's do it that way. Let's go for this. Let's go for this green. Can you read it? It is a book from an author you've never read before. That's such a pretty design. Okay, who have I never read before? A book from an author I have never ever read before. Okay, I think this one. So I've got a copy of The Wolf King by Lauren Palfiramen. Have I said that completely wrong? I know so many people who love this book, and it just came out I think in the last week or two, and I got sent this proof very close to the release date, which is why I haven't read it, but it is one that I wanted to read in November, so I think this is ideal. On the front it says, "I want to mark you as mine, and I can think of countless ways I would do it." I think this is a love triangle, and there's wolves. That's all I know. When war erupts between humans and werewolves, a princess finds herself torn between duty and desire. On the eve of her wedding, Princess Aurora catches the eye of powerful Alpha Callum. Believing she's the key to ending a brutal war, Callum kidnaps Aurora, whisking her away to the rugged lands north of the border. There, a forbidden attraction starts to grow. Just as Aurora learns not all wolves are bad, Callum discovers that she is in danger from those closest to him. With monsters on both sides and a bloodthirsty war raging, will their story end in love or tragedy, and will Aurora ever get to go home? Does she even want to? Okay, for this book, I know there's a love triangle because I've seen people say, I'm Team Blake, I'm Team Callum. So I love a love triangle. So I can't wait to see how those guys both fit in. So that is a book by an author I've never read before. And another reason why I want to read this is because I recently saw the fairyloot edition. So I'll put on the screen a picture of it, and it just looks so stunning. I love artwork like this. Is this Scottish? I'm not sure. Is the author Scottish? Gives kind of like gorgeous Scotland vibes. You know how normally at the back it says a bit about the author? It doesn't have it in this one. Oh my god, it's a trilogy, and the second book is out in February. That's so soon. Yes, Aurora, Callum and Blake. Guys, okay, we're 100% gonna read this one. I won't even look at anything else. We picked 2 books so far, so we can pick another 5, I'd say. Let's go for maybe this black one. Black and orange, very cozy season vibes. A book you never finished. Oh, that's interesting. What book have I left partly finished and I never went back? Only one I can think of. The only one I can think of is Air of Illusion. So this was on my October TBR, and I read the first page, but I didn't get round to reading the full book. So maybe I just say this is the book I never finished, because to be honest, I didn't. I read 1 page. I just had a lot of books last month, and then I also went off my TBR like a little bit, so I didn't get around to reading this one. Might be the perfect time. I have been banging on about this one for a while. I hate it. I'm like, I need to start Air of Illusion, I need to start Air of Illusion, and I never do. Also, the book does come out this month, so it would be the perfect time to read it. Shall we say this one? A book that you never finished? I think that sounds good to me. So we have our 3rd book. I'm literally just picking them based off the colour on the back. We haven't done like an orangey one. Let's do this orange one. A book outside of your comfort zone. A book outside of my comfort zone. I don't know, I feel like everything on my TBR is within my comfort zone, so nothing really like strays that far from what I normally want to read. They're all on my TBR because they're in my comfort zone. This one's a tough one. I'd say outside of my comfort zone would be reading something like a horror, but I don't have a horror. So let's interpret this in a different way. Someone commented on my video last time, was like, I love how you bend all the TBR prompts to your will. And I'm like, well, yeah, because there are some books I definitely want to read, so it just helps if I interpret this in a way that's in their favour. This might sound really stupid, but this book is outside of my comfort zone because the font is so small. I do really want to read this book, but actually I remember opening it and go, oh, that font's small. And this is just a shout out to publishers that I'm a girly who wears glasses, and sometimes I like to take them off. And when I take them off, I can't really see, like, I can, but it's not comfortable. So then I have to read, like, I'd say for me to read this comfortably, I'd have to put it here. That's way too close. The writing's too small. But I know once I'm into the story, I'll get past it. Like, that's happened to me before. I remember when I read Legendborn by Tracy Dion, I was like, oh my god, this font's so small. But then after like 10 pages, I didn't think about it anymore. So I know it's a mental block. So you know what? This is outside of my comfort zone. So we're going to read this one. Okay, what is it about, you ask? Let's have a look. This is an epic fantasy, and it's about a young rice farmer who's forced to become the concubine to Prince Guan Terran, a monstrous wielder of poetry magic and heir to the throne, to save her family from the famine blighting the land. Oh, so she becomes his concubine to save her family. got it. And the prince is a wielder of poetry magic. I'm really intrigued to see how that works. Now confined to the imperial court, the prince's cruelty is not the only danger that she faces. He and his honourable older brother are locked in a deadly succession war, while Terran's 30 concubines are fighting a war on their own for the position of future empress. Oh, so the prince has potential women to become the future empress. Okay, and she's one of them. To survive, she must harden her heart, rely on her wit, and become dangerous herself, even if it means learning the one forbidden poem that can kill Terran and save both herself and the nation. Okay, I'm very intrigued by this whole idea of like words having power and the use of like poetry in particular. That will be interesting. It's also out in January, so I guess reading it in November is kind of the perfect time for it. No need to search any further. I found the book outside my comfort zone, and it's this one. Shall we do... Ooh. Oh, this dark green is nice from the back. Also, let me put on my glasses because I can't see anything. Can you read it? A book by a debut author. Me, every time I have a prompt, I'm like, what the freak do I own? A book by a debut author. What do I have? What do I have? What do I have? Okay, I've wanted to read this for a while, and I 100% knew I was going to pick it this month. Is Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. My only qualm, is it a qualm? My only query, question mark, is... has he written other books? Is this his defo debut? So I have this book that is, I believe, indie published, but it is picked up to be traditionally published, and I think it's coming out November, December maybe? I think it is his debut. Where's my phone? Let me Google it. Oh, it's right here. Okay, Ryan Cahill. It is Of Blood and Fire, guys. Okay, we've got it. I don't need to search anymore. I already wanted to read this, so this is perfect. I know my friends Tammy and Jess will be extremely happy because this is one of their favourite epic fantasy books of all time. They speak so highly about this series that I'm excited to go into it, because other than the Sword of Kaigan and the Poppy War, like a handful of books, I haven't read enough epic fantasy, but I know I love it, so I just need to read more. So from the blurb, it sounds like it's set in a land divided by war. I'm actually just reading the blurb. It sounds like, then she reads the blurb. The High Lords of the South squabble and fight, only kept in check by the Dragon Guard, traitors of a time long past who served the Empire of the North. And then our main character is this boy called Kaelin, and he lives in the South. He's just lost his brother, and he is preparing for the Proving, a test of courage and skill that not all survive. Okay, interesting. And when three strangers arrive in his village with a secret they are willing to die for, Kaelin's world is ripped from under him, and he's thrust headfirst into a war that has been raging for centuries. And I know when I was speaking to Jess and Tammy about it that they mentioned the story follows Kaelin, but he also finds maybe a dragon egg. I think that's what they were saying. And I love The Dragon Prince on Netflix. Have you guys seen that? I'll put a little picture on the screen. I love this show so much. I haven't watched the most recent seasons, but I remember being obsessed, and that one is also about this person who finds a dragon egg, and you know, the dragons are really sought after. Very like How to Train Your Dragon vibes. So if this is How to Train Your Dragon, Dragon Prince, but epic adult fantasy, I'm excited for what's to come. That's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th book. Why am I so bad at keeping track of simple numbers? Okay. What colour are we feeling? I think this one, because on the back it has a heart. A book with a romance. A book with a romance. A book with a romance. Oh, the world is our oyster with this prompt. I'm excited because I can basically pick so many from here. I've got Fallen Stars by Mani Eriu. I was going to start in October, and then I was like, Sam, you're in the middle of too many books and you just need to just like focus on at least just 3 to 4. And so I didn't start in October, but I definitely wanted to read it in November because it is out this month, and it does have a romance. This is definitely a romantasy, like more focus on the romance than the fantasy. It has an incredibly beautiful world. If you haven't read Heavenly Bodies and you like something kind of magical like Stephanie Garber, Sulin Tan, then you'll love Imani's writing. On the back it says, never make a bargain with a god. The only thing holding me back is that there's 5 books in this series, or at least planned 5 books, and this is only book 2, which means when will it finish? This year's 2025, so 2026, 27, 28, so it'll finish in 2028. I will be 27, 28, 29. I'm gonna be 30. 27, 28. I'm gonna be turning 30 the year that the 5th book's out, which is insane. Started the year with Heavenly Bodies. I think it might have been the first book I read this year, I believe, and I gave it like 4.5, 4.75. It just feels fitting to end the year with book 2. I'd say the blurb for this is pretty spoilery for book 1, but if you're going to go into it, just know it's a world with celestial magic. It's a world that has courts that are divided in the types of magic that you have. So our main character, Alara, is from like the shadow slash nightish court, so she has powers of shadow and darkness, and she basically runs away when her whole family is killed to live in the kingdom of light. And in that kingdom of light, the king there is like, hey, I could use you as a weapon to kill a god, so why don't you train with my son over here, Enzo? And obviously all those training scenes end up with them having insanely good chemistry, that forced proximity element which I love. The two just kind of like build their relationship from there. I loved it in particular because it was very much Alara's story, and she has all of this trauma that's built up from the things that have happened to her, that she can't fully use her magic, and Enzo is actually the one who helps nurture her and push her and help her to kind of find her way through that and get in touch with her magic again, which I just really love. I also got to interview Amani Eriu earlier this year, and hearing her talk about her inspirations and how much she loves these characters and the story just made me so much more excited to read book 2. So we're picking this one, a book with a romance. Da-da-da! Let's pick a couple more. There's not actually that many cards. What shall we do next? Shall we do this blue one? A book? Oh, I just made that up. It doesn't say that. The newest book on your TBR. The newest book on my TBR is Red City by fairyloot. I got sent this a few days ago, and I did actually ask for it. I was like, hey, do you have any more copies of Red City? The person who works at Book Break was like, you know what, we might have one. And as you're a big fairyloot fan, let's see what we can do. This book just sounds so good. I'm very excited to get into it. It says it's The Godfather meets The Magicians, which to be fair, I haven't really like engaged with any of those things, so I don't know what they're about. But it does say it's an adult debut fantasy flavoured with dark academia. Expect magical warfare, star-crossed ambition, and the pursuit of perfection at any cost. Alchemy is the magical art of transformation. Marketed by crime syndicates as an illegal drug, it transforms users into a more perfect version of themselves. Giving Uglies. You know that film Uglies by Scott Westerfield? And among the gleaming skyscrapers of Angel City, it's controlled by two rival syndicates, but when two childhood friends choose opposite sides, the city and their lives will be irrevocably transformed. This is given the trauma of the Legend series from 2012. God, if you've read Legend by fairyloot, you know what I'm talking about. Sam! Oh, not me being the main character. Sam lives in poverty. Oh. Spoke too soon. Sam lives in poverty and will do anything to join Grand Central and claim a better life. Charismatic Ari was taken from his family as a boy to become a luminous apprentice and will become one of his side's brightest stars. They might have loved one another once, but neither might survive the escalating conflict to come. The setup! This sounds so good. Everyone who I have seen talk about this book says that it's amazing. So that's really all I need to know. I will say though, the font's looking small, guys. The font's looking small. So this is outside my comfort zone. So I will pick this one for the prompt of the newest book on your TBR. But to be fair, this is the newest book on my TBR. So I'm very happy with this choice. Let's pick this green one. A book with natural elements on the cover. What do we have left? Oh, I really want to read this one. And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. But there are no natural elements on this cover. Oh, I do want to read this before the end of the year, and it's Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. Look how perfect that is. That goes together perfect. This is book 3 in the series. I loved book 1 and 2, but I never got round to reading this final one. So I think it's maybe time. But I'm so sad because I just love them so much. Look how cute they are. Oh, and my fairyloot edition is truly beautiful. Well, this one works. I also have Agnes Albert's Mystical Cat Shelter, which has cats on it. I'd say they're pretty natural. Oh, but I think I'm just gonna pick one for now. Gotta leave this one, unfortunately. God, my TBR cart's empty after all of this. Let's just do one more. Let's do one more. Let's see what we get. Let's go for this one. Orange. A book set in summer. A book set in summer? No! No! I don't know what's set in summer. Gosh, I hope this is set in summer. Is it set in summer? B.K. Borison. Where's the blurb? There's no blurb. This book has no blurb. But it does come out in February. This book has no blurb. I don't know if this is set in summer. Is To Cage a Wild Bird set in summer? She's in prison. She doesn't know what season it is. Oh God. Got Thistle Marsh. That's not giving summer. It's giving spring. Oh. The dates help. This is in April, set in April 1919. April is still spring. Okay. The GL. I can't believe I've done this. Not good. Is this book set in summer? It's so tough when you're not reading a summer romance. Speaking of summer romance, maybe that's what I'll pick. I've got one. I'm gonna do Holding the Reins. Surely this is set in summer. It's cowboys. The cowboy books are always set in summer. Perfect. I'm gonna do Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope because I've always wanted to start this series and I finished Chestnut Spring, so it's also on BookBeat and I love listening to a romance audiobook just like, you know, on the go. Yippee! I think I'm happy because as well there's many books in the series, kind of like Chestnut Springs. I love it when a series is like interconnected and with each book you already know the characters from the previous book. Yeah, let's do it. Fear, I have one book I need to add on to here. I just remembered. This is a book that I've said I'm gonna read in 2025 or else. I have a lot of friends who are a big fan of this series and they said if I don't read it in November, you can lock me up, and it's The Bone Season. If you guys have followed my booktube for a while, I said I was going to read this, I think back in March or April, and I never got round to it. So this is the perfect season. And in fact, Samantha Shannon posted the other day, just a reminder that this is the perfect season to read The Bone Season. I'm going to add this one on. Let's take a look at everything we picked. Paladin's Grace, A Dance of Lies, they're the two I need to finish. A book with a romance is Fallen Stars. A book set in summer is Holding the Reins. This is when someone's going to comment and say, Sam, that book is not set in summer. A book with natural elements on the cover is Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. Yippee! I'm so excited. The newest book on your TBR is Red City by Marie Lu. A book by a debut author is Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. A book outside of your comfort zone is The Poet Empress by Chantal. Laughing at how silly that one was for me. A book you never finished is Air of Illusion by Madeline Taylor. A book from an author you've never read before is The Wolf King by Lauren Palferaman. Jeez, I am butchering this. Last but not least, a book set in winter is Good Spirits. Oh, last but not least, The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I think that looks like quite a juicy list. I'm really excited to see, you know, how I get through these. Here we go. Are you ready? Yay! Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what's on your November TBR, if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them, and I will see you guys in next week's video, which will be October's wrap up. And you can catch me on Instagram, TikTok, or Goodreads in the meantime, and I will see you very soon.